Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the DONNYCHAINGANG with me, Matt Payne. Thank you for joining us down on the Down in Cycling YouTube channel. It's been a bit mad. It's been a bit manic on the run in, so apologies if you got on the other stream and then lost it again. It was a slight technical issue that we have, fingers crossed, resolved. And we're going to be looking forward to all of the action from Paris. Now, don't forget, of course, we have lots of action coming up. We're going to see if the man of the moment, and that is Mr. Hutchinson, who was able to take the win, rolled Gareth Mason, the fat sprinter, and Russ Downing to take victory in Innsbruck Ring on Tuesday, is going to be back to repeat this. If he doesn't, then there are lots of riders all ready to go, all sat waiting in the wings, and I'm sure Russ is going to be very eager to get out and amongst everybody. We're heading to the Champs-Elysee and we'll run you through the course details. As per normal, we're going to start off nice and steady, try and look after everybody. We're then going to move in to a slightly fast lap, maybe have a sprint or two, and then once it's all regrouped, we'll then be moving on, and it will be that go, go, go signal from Russ, who will be giving the go ahead to go and ride. Basically, every man and woman for themselves, and it's all about getting across the line as fast as you can. At that point, work in a group, get together, make some friends. Our beacon at the back, Ted, the red beacon, Andrew Edwards, all ready to go as well, and I know he's looking forward to duties on what is a very quick circuit as well. So remember, I'm going to be heading round. It is effectively one half of the lap to get into warm-up. Then we're going to have 6 laps, and we're going to finish after the 6th lap at the top of the hill on the green banner. So let's get across to Russ. I think he's all ready to go on the other end, and hopefully we will be able to speak to him the moment that we dial him. You never know. Today the tech might work.
Now then.
Hi Russ, how are you doing?
I'm not bad.
So all ready for a trip round Paris?
The Paris.
It's big numbers tonight.
Yeah, too many for me to handle after the day I've had. But yeah, it's all good fun, you know.
Excellent, and that's what we're looking for, isn't it? We're looking for big numbers, but we're looking for well-behaved numbers. I'm hoping everybody's read the rules and read the lines in terms of how many laps and where we're going and where we're finishing, and it's all going to be nice and smooth tonight.
Yeah, definitely need people to behave. So let's see if they do. But you know, I'll do my best. Keep typing the messages and see what happens.
And of course, the aim is to get into a group and to roll round in that group, isn't it? And to make friends rather than enemies, as it says on the description of the ride.
Yeah, we've said that from day one. You know, make friends, not enemies, and that's the same with any chain gangy type thing. So yeah, let's just see what's happening.
Cool. Excellent stuff. And of course, Champs-Elysee has played host to the Chain Gang before. It's always been really busy, hasn't it?
Yeah, very busy. So, like I say, I think it's a great course. It's got a bit of a climb in it, and you know, watching the Tour de France, everyone thinks the up to the Arc de Triomphe is flat, but it's not. And I think Zwift have really shown that in the game. It does hurt, and it gets dragged out so much. Around the Arc de Triomphe, and then stand the other side. You know, you see people saying, "Oh, I got dropped up on the descent." It's like real life. If you're on the back of the elastic band, some days it goes snap. So you know, without chasing the front like under nines chase a football, you have to slightly move up and stay in the bubble and stay in the blob. And John Herty had a famous saying years ago: "Move up." And that was mainly in crits when you were just swinging around the back, just playing to the crowd. So, yeah, move up. That's all I'm going to say.
Yep.
But not too far.
Up to the yellow and blob on the beat. It's like a game of all pile on when you were kids at school, isn't it? Where everybody needs to be right on there and literally mobbing the beacon. So let's see if it.
I keep hearing you saying that on the channel, saying, "Oh, pile on the bear," and I'm like, I'm only small. Don't jump on me. But yeah, it's all great fun. So let's go and see what's happening around the Champs-Elysee.
And with that, we'll let you go, Russ, and good luck, mate.
Cheers, mate. Thanks a lot.
So great to speak to Russ. Let's show you what's coming up for our riders here on the Donny Chain Gang on the Downey Cycling YouTube channel. As we said, we are going to be in Paris, and we are in Paris for the Champs-Elysee route. It's the same route as the crit circuit used at the end of the Tour de France. Our yellow beacon, as always, it is Russ Downey, aka The Bear. And our red beacon is Andrew Edwards, which is Ted on his avatar. We've also got the details up for you there, the course details. So we have the lead in, it's 3.2k into circuit, so that's around the bottom of the Tuileries Gardens, in and around to the start line. We then go up the hill, past the sprint line, round the top of the Arc de Triomphe, drop back down around the gardens. We do 6 full laps, plus we finish at the green sprint banner, which is at the top of the hill, 1.35k after the lap banner, which means 44.15k total. Then a warm down of just under a kilometre, which brings our total up to 45k. What does that look like out on the map? Well, let's show you the map. This is where we're heading. The red is the warm-up as we run around and into the lap. We go up the hill, through the green beacon, around the top, and then round down onto the pan section of the shovel, back up the handle and round. So the start is the little red section round. It's then included in every lap thereafter. Our riders just going to be starting to head out onto circuit, and let's show you the hills that Russ was talking about, because it isn't flat by any stretch of the imagination. In fact, this is what it looks like. You can see there is a big old gradient going up onto the top towards that turn as you go around the turn. That's the absolutely critical part of the course, and that is where our riders will be heading up and round, making sure that they stay nailed in. It drops down, goes around the flat of the lower section before then moving round and up onto the climb. Now, the lap is at the bottom of the climb and the sprint is at the top of the climb, and it's all going to be ready to get going very, very shortly. In fact, our riders now underway, and we are no doubt going to be heading out on course with our beacons very shortly, and the feed just about to come through. So let's see what's happening out there on the course. Here we go. So the riders are up and riding. We are going to bring have a little bit of a look at the riders. They look like they're all currently riding around. So at the moment they're making their way down past the course on the opposite side. They're in the little red section which is joined together. They're going to take the run across towards the river in a minute, and you can just see we're in with the mountain bike and the red beacon, which is out at the back, which is a brave move because anybody coming on this circuit with a mountain bike. Now it's all about getting this absolutely nailed and getting around this circuit. So let's jump in to the circuit. Let's bring you all of the action from out on the Chain Gang as we head across for the Donny Chain Gang here on the Downey Cycling YouTube channel. So here on the Downey Cycling YouTube channel for the Donny Chain Gang, and keeping our eyes on the riders at the moment. Our helicopter up in the sky, just showing the river, the Seine out to the side. You can just see the riders behind Russ, the yellow beacon. Just keeping our eyes on the red beacon. That is Ted, Andrew Edwards. He's our red beacon. He's going to be pulling our riders along at the back. If you do drop out, guys, if you're listening to this live, please make sure you tell him whether you are going to be out completely or you're going to be staying in there rolling. There's lots of riders already forming a nice group at the back there, and that's where you want to be. And Mr. Gibbons, I know you've got the power to get yourself in there. Jump in quick, mate. You can see already it's rolling nicely up towards Russ up at the front. Let's jump in with a couple of people who are out on circuit. Let's jump in with Darren. This is Darren Topless, fast becoming a regular on the Chain Gang, and we are with him up with our drone camera, and we're going to just drop it down to get underneath the underpass. Now, Zwift, if you've not seen it before, will show 100 riders at a time. There were 300 riders signed up, and this is all about making sure you stay as close as possible to the yellow beacon. So we will get the first 100 riders that are nearest at the moment to Darren Soplis, and we are going to give it a spin around. And as you can see, the nearest 100 riders to Darren, and not the riders actually out the back, because he's going to make his way up to Russ. And it looks to me like the group already just starting to drop a number of riders on the way through. So we're going to work our way back through. Just make sure we try to stay in with that group at the moment. Let's jump in with the bear, if we can. In with Russ Downing. Russ, no doubt, on another Pinarello. I know he's out today, already been out on the chain, on the bike, and keeping the chains tight. He was out with Joey Walker and train driver Ash, as far as I'm aware. This today out riding off-road today, back on the Dogma, on the deep rims. It's a fast circuit, but with that hill you want something that is reasonably light as well. And at the moment the riders all in there. Good to see Dean Watson is in there, Rich Crawley's in there, Matlock's in there. Looks like Aidan Bishop, Kira Brown in there, Craig Genther's in here, Jimmy Allen is back in as well, Danny Webb in, all the big names all hanging around where the beacon is, taking it nice and steady for the first few laps. So looks like Mr. Miller is in from Fusion CC, just up the road from me. So Craig Sellen in here as well. Let's take a quick look at Craig's numbers. So top left hand side of the screen, you can see Craig currently producing 180 watts, 69 revs per minute, 103 beats per minute. Just coming up to the lap banner, so the courses have joined. And if we take a little bit of a view up the course, you can see just in front is that beacon. So the riders all mobbing around Craig here. This is our lap, so we're going to complete the first section of the course, and this is the initial section. That is our warm-up. It is the run in to the circuit proper. So just riding in with Craig at the moment as we keep on moving our way up and around. Just seeing Lisa Leverton on her way through there from Bolsover. So going to jump from Craig across, see if we've got another of our regular riders in here, just in with Emma here. So Emma, one of our female riders, another of our regulars on the Thursdays on the chain gang. Looks like deep wheels for Emma, just trying to get a view here. So Emma kicking out 186 now, heading up for 200 watts, but you'll notice because although she's as tall as the guys, she's having to produce more watts per kilo to stay with the guys around her. So you'll see that the numbers for Emma are going to be higher, and most of the women, anybody who is lighter has to give it a little bit more oomph to stay with the heavier riders on the flat and downhill sections. On the uphill, not too bad, but as you can see, the numbers having to be pushed up higher. So most of the women will be running higher numbers than the guys when they're on the way round. It's worth bearing in mind, particularly if you're out and riding. Looks like Bruce Dalton with tech issues out on course. Mr. Spencer not having any of those. He's nicely in with the group. Looks like Parker is in here riding comfortably as well. Hobbs in this group. Chris Hilbert is in as well from Pine Cycles. So Cottrell riding nice and smoothly, just in with Jackson as well. Lone Riders in here. Good to see Vic Chavaria back with us as well. Gibbons has made it up into this group. Owen Davis is in here as well. So good to see Owen riding, and Owen in the black Alienware jersey there, and got the kit absolutely dialed. Looks like AD Dench just coming around the side as well, just taking a little bit of a look back here towards our red beacon, and it looks like this group is holding together, not putting too much time on the way back. So it looks like Russ is putting the message out, don't follow him, he's on his way off up to the front to give him a bit of earache. It sounds like there's more than one rider giving it a little bit too much beans up on the front. Remember, the aim of this is to hold everybody together as we roll our way through. Looks like Andy Thorney's in here, Mr. Richardson's in here, Keith in as well, Mr. Garforth, good to see John back. Andy Hawes is out riding, Mr. Morris, Rich Crawley. He's in with the Rumble at the moment. Bruce has made it back. Bruce from the Cyclocross Syndicate is here. So Bruce with a very nice retro strip. And just see, just making his way around the top of the course. So Russ has shot off to the front to just keep an eye on what is going on. We're going to drop in with Ted. He's our red beacon. So the red beacon at the moment, just nicely pulling along our riders to make sure they get back into that group. Looks like Rob Carlin has company with Ted, and if you're at the back of the group, guys, now's the time to push on. This is when you need to just put a little squeeze on the pedals as you come off the top of the turn round the Arc de Triomphe, and this is where you then need to just start stretching it out as you go up over the top. James Allen knows what he's talking about, of course, the organiser of the Saturday spin-offs. And as you can see, as we look down the course, you can see the gradient increasing here. So we're just on the level section at the top, 0% shown on the top right-hand corner of your screen. As the numbers increase, that is as we drop down. Now, as we go on to the sprint line, you'll see the opposite as you go around. So Russ giving the indication to stay around him. As you can see, the yellow beacon now looks to be about 500 to 750 meters down the road from a number of riders who are streamed out behind him. Remember, we're only going to get the nearest 100 riders to Ted, so that's 100 in front. If we take a little bit of a look up at the map in front, there are more than 100 riders strung in a long line to get even close to getting to the top. So looks like Ted with PG and Rob Carling with him, just dropping down the hillside. Big group, 100 riders are now strung out behind Russ at the moment. So let's move up from PG and from Ted and Rob Carling. 4 seconds in front, we've got a duo. Now shortly going to be a trio of riders, and they currently are 15 seconds plus behind the back of the bunch. In fact, I think Russ currently about a minute up the road. So Sean Ferret in here, Mr. Galton is in this group as well. So Tom Galton in here. And looks like he's going to get some more company behind, because you got Ted, you got Russ Dobby just dropping back a little bit. We've got P. Wright out there, and Sean Ferret in the green, Galton in the red. Going to drop just up the road to Gately. So just with Gately now, who is making his way up. Looks like we've got more of our regulars just in front of Gately here. So let's have a look. I think it's going to be Brian Taylor. It's going to be Bradshaw, then Bolt. It's going to be Johnson in this group as well. Fry about 5 seconds up the road. Then it's going to be Rumble Moore. Then Bruce Dalton chasing hard here, trying to get his way back in. And then McPhee, Spence, Mason, Flanders, Fraser being dropped out. Regular man. We have 300 riders, so the aim here is to get the riders all together for the first lap or so. Let's have a little look. Looks like Miss Cookie in this group. Rob Wimble is in here. Joel Davis sitting in this group. I start riding in at the minute, and as you can see, this is Joel, one of our regular riders, right up at the front. He can just about see Russ in front, and let's get a look back from Joel. Plenty of riders behind. So it looks like Ruth Taylor in the group here. Dan Cohen in here. looking smooth. Ian Brooks in this group as well. Whitehead's in it. Emma Collier's in here. And it looks like the front group managing to ease off. Don't give them any encouragement, Russ. They definitely need to understand how they need to take it easy, that is for sure. Simon McNamara out at the back of the group, just about to drop underneath. Let's drop in with Ted. This is the back of the group, so gives you a good indication of just how far there is. And it looks like Darren Topless at the moment having tech issues. 7 seconds back, just chasing hard to try and get back in with Ted. It looks like he's going to be working hard. Rumble's just off the back of that little group. So looks like PG's out back, Rumble's out back, Topless just being distanced. So Russ is good at the moment. It looks like Russ Dobby just rolling down nice and smooth. Rob Carling just sitting just to the back of that group, just coming into this kicker. Now watch the gradient top right hand side of your screen as you come up out. Here it goes really, really steep. 6%, 7% as you come up around that turn, and then you line yourself back up as you go through. Rob looking nice and smooth here, clicking out a couple of hundred watts as he goes up and over. Rumble is behind. He's just trying to close that gap down, and looks like Fryer just getting a drop out of the watts there. Now let's take a little look at some more of our regulars just in front. Now it looks to me like Martin Bolt in a nice little group here. So Martin Bolt with Carl Johnson here, Sean Ferrin in this group, Galton in here as well, Bradshaw's in here. And this group at the moment are looking like they are 25 seconds off the back of the bunch. So it looks like the front of the group with the speed, the power of that massive group starting to stretch it out. Looks like the usual Muppets off the front. We're going to get the Muppet tune to play them soon. We haven't named them Shane for a while. Soon going to happen. So let's move up the course a little bit. So up to P Rides. Then we're going to go to Rich on a bike. Fryer, Dalton, Garfoot. Then Hemstock. Looks like Miss Cookie just about holding the back of that bunch. Come on, Sarah, time to push on. Just get the back of that bunch in front. Looks like Ian Brooks is sitting in the group in front. So let's take a look up from Brooks and take a little bit of a spin back. Flanders Fraser on the back there. Looks like Cookie just getting onto the back of that group. So Drummond working well to get back in touch. This is the group around Russ at the moment. So just a quick reminder to all of our riders, don't forget guys, we can quite easily scroll our way through the screens through the companion app. We have multiple computers running, which means that we can go take a picture of your watts per kilo up on the front. It doesn't take much doing, and we will not hesitate to name and shame. If it goes out of control too many weeks in a row, we will make it membership only, and we will then ban you if you break the rules. Dead easy. So currently something about 60 riders or so behind Russ. Just sitting in with this group. Just going to jump in with Andy Birdsall, one of our rotating beacons. The red beacon rotates around the group, and we have lots of volunteers for that. If you do want to have a go, don't forget to jump on the Facebook page. And the aim here is to mob around Russ. The more riders we can pile on top of Russ, the better. Basically just slows him down. It's much better. In terms of how many on the start, there was due to be just over 300. I didn't see the last figure. Russ will get that later on. I think it could well be a record number in the group at the moment, just with O'Shea at the moment dropping back through. Flanders, Fraser, that's the man in the black jersey with the yellow sleeve to the side. Looks like Craig Genther in yet again. So Craig in here looking nice and smooth. Remember, that's the green banner we just come underneath. That's where we will be finishing the ride in terms of positioning. So Elysee Leverton in from Bolster with a big contingent here tonight. I've seen Maddie Smith in here, Ian Brooks in here, Emma Payne is in this group as well. I think I've seen Alan Parsons in here. It's going to drop back a little bit. The red beacon currently 1 minute behind this group. So Ted is currently at 1 minute. He's got Rob Carling just behind him at the moment. So it looks like Rob just jumping up towards the back wheel of Ted at the moment. Rob, a regular rider around the East Midlands area, just coming up towards the group. So Rob and Ted now have PG at 6 seconds in front. They've got Galton at 25 seconds or so, and quite a big group at about 25 seconds. Looks like there's going to be about 15 riders up there, and then moving up in front. So just taking a look up the road here. Ted's looking nice and smooth here. He's got Carling just sitting behind him. Come on, Rob, squeeze on into those that 6 metre gap. That's where you need to be. We're currently watching the beacon. It's 6 metres is the draft. That's 3 bike lengths from Zwift. That's what they give you. Unless you're in the big beacon, you can already see the yellow beacon up the climb and halfway down the other side. And that's how fast our riders get up and around. So just keeping an eye on where the riders are now. It looks like they're just keeping that squeeze on. Come on, Rob, stay in those wheels. As our riders go around the Champs-Élysées here. PG's the rider who could be seeing Ted and Rob Carling squeezing up to them. And then it's going to be Taylor, I think, in the group. He looks like Ted's got a drop out here. That's bad news. So we're going to just leave Taylor at the moment and drop in with Galton. So Tom Galton in here with Sean Ferron. It looks like Martin Bolt in this group. Carl Johnson is in here as well. So it's Carl in the multicolored green, blue and red jersey. Galton in that red and black, just moving up on the side in the green jersey. You can just see nice smooth riding here. That's Sean Ferron coming up and moving past. Looks like Bradshaw in the light blue as well. All rolling the way out and round here now. They're going to pick up Bruce Dalton. Bruce, time to pick up the pace, mate. You're going to get caught here. Looks like Bruce with another power drop out here. The man needs to sort the tech out, that is for sure. So rolling down. Who's going to be their next rider? Looks like Gately going to be got company at the moment. Russ Dolby up there with it behind, though. There is a big group. You can just see them trying to chase them down. So Gately at the moment we're with, who is pushing on here. So Gately at the moment. Steve Gately has company. Russ Dolby just moving up alongside Russ in that light blue behind them. You can see the riders are in a big group, and it looks like they're going to be coming past quite a number of riders as Mr. Fryer's got a power drop out here. Hemstock's up there. Biggest cause of power drop out is your internet connection, or the connection on your ANT or your Bluetooth. So you need to minimize the amount of Bluetooth devices, minimize the amount of ANT devices down to what you need, which are essential. So that would be your heart rate monitor, your power device, whether that's a crank or it's a turbo trainer, and that is absolutely critical Now, in front of these riders, we've got Hemstock with company. Looks like Mr. Rice just up there as well. So Doc Hemstock and Pablo are just in front. Let's have a look up here. So Pablo riding in the front of the group here. And Pablo with Mr. Hemstock just behind Doc Hemstock, sitting on the wheel there, just closing down on Day. So closing the gap down on Day. Big group behind coming as well. And they're just pushing on behind that group, just in front. I think you're going to see John Garfoot and Miss Cookie. That's Sarah in that group together. So Sarah along with John Garfoot. John, another of our regular riders here, just on the front. Now, I think we're going to have a sprint up at the front, which means we're going to jump right up in with some of our fast riders. Let's get past Carl. We're going to be running our way up in towards the bear himself, in towards Russ. Good to see Mr. Vader in the group. Looks like Edwards of Chefrek is in there as well. Me from the house team back again. Let's have a quick look at Mr. Vader. Let's check he's got the right helmet. He certainly has. Vader all lined up and ready. In hiding at the moment. Keeping undercover at the moment. Now keeping an eye on these riders, just watching the numbers here. They're all creeping round about the 3 to 4 watts per kilo, and there's some very quick riders in here. We've got Craig Herring in here, we've got Mike Salko sitting in here, the Octogenarian is up on the top there. Looks like Paul Simonite is in that group. Jess Evans is in here as well. Young Mr. Gilmore, Matt Gilmore, who's only 15, one of our really, really fast riders in the group. Finn Donohue's in here. Finn, another of our riders, has been the beacon as well. Billy Nomic's in here. Cal Kopinski, the artist behind the key design of Don't Poke the Bear, in that group as well. Just going to take a little bit of a look. Mr. Radcliffe's with us. Mr. Peace in. Looks like Noble in this group as well. Going to take a little bit of a look at some of our really quick riders up here. Looks like Phil Sanderson is in here. Bones in this group as well. That is the first of the runs through done, because we've just taken a little bit of a look at the group as have gone up and through the line. We're going to move our way across. We're going to have a quick check and see just who is in the group, who's going to do the smart thing. Because when you're coming in with this group, the absolute key thing to do is to sprint from the back to the very front. So it's about sprinting from the back of the group to the front of the group. So we're going to jump in with Russ for this sprint. As you can see, Russ surrounded by a number of very, very quick riders. Ben from Velo Viewer is in here. In the back, Kieran Smith is in here as well. Kieran just highlighted there for you. Mark Chamberlain is in. Mark was out smashing up the sprints in France immediately before this. Stuart McInnes is in here. Now the run into this sprint is critical. You cannot afford to go too early. It's all about getting the timing right. We're going to go up above Ross here. Now in goes the aero power. So the boost has come in. The kick is come, so he's now going to start accelerating up through this group using that aero drag, but he's early. He's moving his way up a little early here because he's going to try and get into a fast moving group. He wants to be sitting around the middle of the pack here, I think, and we're going to go in now. Remember, we go, there's some very early going here from Craig. We drop down into the dip, and that is where the sprint line is. There's some very big quick early kicks, and they're going way early. You need to be waiting and waiting and waiting, and then when you kick, you want to be kicking because you come in. Here is the green line now, so Russ over the green line. This is where the kick has to come. You've got to be putting the power down once you're hitting that rolling, and it's all about getting the pace up and underneath the gantry. Now will it be Smith who takes it, or will it be Kieran Smith or Gareth Mason. It's Kieran Smith who gets it. 8.96. We said he was quick. Time to put the brakes on, guys. We need to be sub 2 watts per kilo, please. 2 watts per kilo. And back around the yellow beacon. So, Kieran Smith taking the men's sprint jersey. We're just going to have a little bit of a check through. We're going to have a look for the women's sprint jersey. It is a very, very fast kick through there. Just trying to work our way through and try and find who is likely to have that women's jersey. There's some very, very quick women in that group. I think it is going to be Jess Evans who has got it. So just going to drop off Dan and in with Jess. So Jess, the women's sprint leader, with an 11.56. Super, super quick time on the way through. And Jess Evans taking the women's. Kieran Smith with a sub 9 second time taking the men's. And as you can see, that really has ripped the group apart. So Jess taking the women's green sprint jersey. The men's currently sitting with Kieran Smith, who's a little bit further back. All key now is to get those brakes on, get that blob reformed. It's like Miller still in this group. Our Johnson Wheelers squad are in here. Phil Ozake in this group as well. Big split, so guys, on the way through. Looks like Mr. Greenwood's in this group as well. Just as you can see, if we jump up in the sky, it is well and truly battered apart. So please, guys, time to do a quick regroup. It needs to be quick if you want to get any kind of run in to the finish. As you can see up here, the camera shows you just how smashed apart. And this is just around the guys. Around Russ, so currently in with Finn, in with Mr. Vickers. You can just see our red beacon on his way up the hillside here. In Brooks chasing to get back into this group. Goddard, Duckworth, he's really Crawley in here. Lots of people. Dean Watson in here. Hot Dog Mason from Chain Shop. Lovett's in here. Vader is in here. Coleman from Arctic is in here. Coleman, who's ripping it up on Tuesday. Sonia Inslee in here. Legs in this group as well. Nick Dorsey is on here, and as Dorsey says, how can we regroup at this speed? Well, Dorsey's doing nearly 55 km per hour, and there is one heck of a smash apart. As you can see, this is Dorsey's group. Behind Dorsey, there are still masses and masses of riders. There's about 200 riders behind Russ at the moment. And as you can see, as we work our way back, it's got some really big names in there, and they are smashed all out and over the circuit at the moment. So just in with Ted at the minute on his way up. Sean Ferron just coming in and around the turn. He's got Carl Johnson just in front. We're going to take a little look round the corner. And on the way down now, Cookie Garfoot, looks like Alan, who is up in that group. Gately in there. Leverton was in the main group. They are destroyed off the back. The Beacon about to take the turn on. So currently spread somewhere in the region of what looks to be 2k on the road due to the sprint and the smash apart that happened on the way through. Question is, will the group get back together again? Can the group get back together again as we are moving our way up and through? So just keeping an eye here in with Russ at the moment. The guys on the front are long gone. So Dorsey's group here, this has got some very quick riders in here as well. Looks like we got a number of our key women in this group as well. Looks like Ruth Taylor in here, Emma Payne in this group as well. They are Currently sitting about 15 seconds behind the yellow beacon. They have a huge number of riders, about 100 riders behind this group, with Mr. Chamberlain in here. You can see the power that's being kicked out here. These guys are having to do nearly 4 watts per kilo. They are trying to close the gap down, and they've got 10 seconds from this group, this huge group here, to the yellow beacon. And this is further back than, there's more than half of the group behind this pack. Easily more than half the group behind this pack now. It's good to see Alison Kinlock in this group. She is riding stronger on Zwift. Only her first ride in 2 years. Last time around when she came in and rode on the Chain Gang. And doing the same here. Time to kick on Alison as you come up and over the climb. So Alison in here. Looks like we've got Hobbs in here as well. Yep, there goes Hobbs on the way past. So Hobbs in this pack. So this is our next group about to make contact with the front pack that contains Russ. Remember, we always consider where Russ being the front. Just going to try and jump in with our beacon here. So our beacon on his way down at the moment. He's got Galton well in front. It looks like Rob Carling and PG about 13 seconds back. Then it's Galton, Ferrin, Johnson, Day. Looks like Alan and Clark. You can see they're still coming around the turns there. 3 minutes from the riders like Alan to the front. Let's have a look for John Garfoot. Garfoot at the moment is nearly 3 minutes as well. Gary Lyson's got almost 3 minutes. Looks like Gately's got the same. Just seeing Leverton here. Leverton nearly 3 minutes up to Russ, 2.5 minutes. Same with Emma Collier. Looks like Crichton out the back here. Whitehead. You just see that beacon just disappearing off into the distance. We're still only coming up to 20k. So these riders here chasing Russ. I think Russ is going to be taking a move up to the front to get a number of riders off the front of the group. So I think Kieran Brown may well be riding on a mountain bike. Is Kieran the man on the mountain bike? He is. So Kieran's gone for the extra workout. So good skills, Kieran. Going for the mountain bike on a road circuit. Good lad. So Kieran rolling around the right place, sitting near to the yellow beacon here. Currently about 150 to 200 riders behind the beacon. Just riding in with Kieran Brown on the mountain bike, riding in with these riders, so kicking out considerable amount of power. The shout out to knock the pace off. Jump in with some of these riders a little bit further on up. Let's jump in with Mr. Watson. Mr. Watson knows the score, just sits in the group there, taking it nice and steady. So just apologies, just a little bit of communication going on between myself, Russ, as well as some of the riders. Massive splits behind the group needing to regroup. One or two very selfish riders, the sort of people who you really don't want to be out riding with, don't want on the chain gang, to be honest, can go do one. Just pushing the numbers, ripping the group apart, looking after number one. The advantages of being on the screens means that we can work our way through. So if you know anybody who is up the front doing 5 watts per kilo, 4.5 watts per kilo, if you were one of those people, feel free to come to the studio sometime. We'll show you the damage that you do to everybody else, and we'll do a nice interview with you, and you can explain to everybody else just how you want to rip it apart. Meanwhile, a bit further back, nice big group now starting to form around the beacon, around Russ. This is the nearest 100 riders at the moment to Mr. Watson, who's just holding on in there. Unfortunately, the bad news is the regroup at the moment has splattered about 150 riders out of the back of the group. So now jumping in, we're going to take a little bit of a look behind that group, just got a bit further back, and let's take a shove at what's going on behind. So this is the first big group behind the yellow beacon group here. Plenty of riders working hard in here. It looks like O'Shea in here, Spence Hill's in here, Mason in this group, Woodall's in here as well, Kinlock in this group too. I'm going to take a little bit of a check behind this group. Now, although we can't see them, there are a fairly substantial number behind. Rolling in here with Dunn, who's sat in the group here. Another of our Johnson wheels. Good to have them with us. Just making contact there. Dobson sitting at the back of that group. So just jumping back to the red beacon here. Fantastic red beacon being done by Ted. Looks like he's doing a great job shepherding PG Carling, and on the chase, I think, of Bradshaw. Bradshaw's the rider in front, just on the hillside here. And it's going to be Lee Allen. Allen just up the road here. I think it's going to keep a look. Looks like Ferrin up here, Bolt up here, Clark is up here. Johnson in this group, Galton in here, just coming in to the turn around. Owen Davis is just stuck on the top of the hillside, and it looks like Pablo on the descent. Nice group here with Sarah in here, Gary Licence in this group, John Garfoot is in here as well. Looks like Doc Hemstock in this group of 4. In front of them, I've got Mr. Gately just trying to close down onto the back of the group in front. So Gately trying to close on to Cootie. Cootie has Jay Leodis in here. It's got Lisa Leverton as well. And I think it's going to be Emma Collier in the group in this group here. So Collier, Leo and Leverton, along with Morris in the group. Morris riding and keeping the pace pushing on here. 21 seconds in front, we've got Crichton in here, we've got Chris Pritchard in the group, we've got Drummond in here and Whitehead. 15 seconds in front of them, we're going to have Bradley Atkinson, and then it's going to be McPhee, Whitlock just in front, and then 20 seconds or so in front is Rose. In front of Rose, then Langmead and Lee and Finch look like they are pretty much all together. Let's jump in with them. Here we go. So they're just heading on into the tunnels. 12 seconds in front of those should be Jackson. Jackson in the tunnels here, chasing on to the wheels. So it's going to be Donahue in the green here, Boy Hoy in the pink and grey. Looking nice and smooth. So 6 seconds up the road, next group. This is the group that has Anderson in here, Joe Jarvis in here in the blue, in the orange is going to be 7, and it's going to be Ambler in the grey. Anderson just moving his way up onto the front of the group, just giving them a little bit of a tow here. They can see the beacon up the front. So good to see these guys working well. Now they're going to take a little bit of a run up the road here. 27 seconds up. This is our next group on the road. So this has got, let's have a little look. It's got Bramley in here in the orange, white. We got Dan Ladle in here in the, well, multicolour jersey on the red and black bike, just to the back left-hand corner of this group. We've also got Julesy in here. Julesy on the Tron bike, on the concept bike there. Looking super smooth. Who else is in here? Mr. Brennan is in here, riding nice and smoothly. Hinchcliffe in this group as well. Looks like Inslee in here. Looks like Flanders Fraser's in this group too, so Flanders Fraser's in there as well. So just up the road, Mr. Wimble riding in the group here. Lapid in here. Tristan from Harrogate is in with the group too. Looks like Mr. Crawley in here as well. Kieran just taking a little bit of a packet, I think, on the mountain bike. Some courses blend themselves to it. Jungle in Watopia, definitely. Definitely makes life tough. Then Sweeting just jumping on the back. So just keeping a look here, Sweeting with Lone Rider and Vader, the riders in and around. So one long line strung out after us. Russ by no means on the front, not by any stretch of the imagination. Looks like Dabrowski Sitting in this group, riding just behind Tim Corby at the moment. Nick Dorsey just hanging on the back of this group. Looks like Liggett's in here as well. Mike Salcal sitting on this group. Looks like Gibbons in here. Salamat doing a good ride in this little group here, working hard. So Salamat looking smooth, got a good group round him here. This is what we want the chain gang to do. Get the riders together, get them working together in groups, getting a nice pack, working hard here. Apologies if there's gaps in the commentary, just doing a little bit of group management. The comms between Russ, myself on commentary, working live to make sure we got everything rolling. Just going to keep a look behind. Currently about 150 to 200 riders behind the main pack. We're starting to form groups behind. As you can see here, we've got riders like Crawley, John Hines, Salamat in here, Craig Genther's in here. This is our next group, chasing hard here, just in with Emma Payne at the moment. Mr. Wheater, John Paul Wheater's in here. It's going to be a very, very fast night tonight. Coleman's in here, Spencer's in here, Chris from the Alliance 70B squad is in this group. I think Mark Chamberlain's in this group as well by the look of it. We're just going to take a look. Yep, Mark Chamberlain in this group as well. This really is a very quick group of riders currently sitting behind the beacon. Then the first group chasing the beacon. They need to push on a little bit if they want to get back in. The first group or the second group chasing here because there are splits all the way across the course. So Chamberlain in the front of this group, working well here. Nice to see this group working together. Plenty of people helping everybody running, moving nice and smooth. So look at this Chamberlain doing the work on the front of this group. It really is some seriously high watts per kilo up here. Spencer's in here. Catley's in this group as well. So the go-go-go's gone due to the behaviour of a minority of Muppets. We're going to focus on the riders behind. We're not going to go up to the front just yet. As you can see, this group are working hard to try and get themselves around the course as fast as possible. Looks like a few riders just up at the row. We're going to take a little bit of a look at the next group. I suspect it's going to be the one with Evans in here. So Evans at the moment just sitting up in with this group, and it's going to be seeing that pack behind. They are closing down really hard. Craig Genther in this group here and working well together. Looks like Duckworth here, just trying to keep this group pushing on. Craig Genther right behind here. Nice group in this pack. Catley in here, and they're working hard. Don't let the gaps go, guys. So just in with Spencer Wilkinson's in here as well. Leach in this group. It looks like Chris Heseltine James in here as well. This is a really nice pack here. Bennett in this group here. As Mark Chamberlain is saying, this is a good group. It certainly is. This is going to be the first of the groups featured at the moment. They're working together really nice and smoothly, getting plenty of airtime here tonight on the groups that are working well. So time for this group to keep putting the pressure on. And looks like PB's all round as they come underneath the gantry. Let's go visit our beacon and see how Ted's getting on. Ted just up the road here, so Ted working well on his way around the circuit. So like Hayward with him, Bradshaw's with him as well. Just seeing the leading riders on the way in and through, going past. And guess what, tonight? Who cares? The people ripped it to pieces. Stay with our red beacon. He's riding in the spirit of the chain gang. So jumping back in with the real winners in tonight's chain gang here. And this is the group containing Andy Hawes, Chris Heseltine, James in here, Craig Genther, looks like Emma Payne in here, Mr. Brooks in as well, Owen Davis in the group here, AD Dench. This is the guys who make the chain gang what it is. And this is why we do it. This group has worked superbly together all the way round. They've got new PBs and new FTPs. You name it, they've got more acronyms behind there now. So here we go. And rolling the way in. Tonight's Best Group of the Night award on the way in and on to the climb. Everybody in this group working together to keep themselves moving smoothly. The real meaning of the chain gang. Mr. Brooks is in here. Everybody nailing it on the way through. Looks like Carl Kapinski in this group. Andy Hawes in this group. This is what it's all about. This is what the group is here for. It's to bring as many in together as possible, to work together as a group, and it is in here that you find the real people who make the chain gang what it is. So well done to everybody who's been in the group today. This is what it's all about, and this is what we want to see. Bringing big old groups in. Trevor Crehan is up in here. And this is where the push is on. Looks like Chris from Heseltine, James on his way. And come on, Chris, last big push in towards the line. We're on that final run in up to the green gantry. You can see Andy Hawes just in front. Catley's in here as well. Mr. Spencer working hard in this group. And Spencer just trying to push up to the next group. This is what it's all about. The guys making the way up. They're going to have a regroup after the arc as well. So just going to drop across. Trevor Crehan is pushing in here, trying to get a good finish on his way in up towards the top of the climb. It looks like Andy Hawes working well. Sudbury's in here. Looks like Provid in this group. Potts is here. Kiernan in the group. Everybody working the way in and through. Some fantastic pace from Vickers, Stoddy, Thorpe in here. Looks like Jacko going through. Robinson goes through. Nice riding. Keith Richards on his way through. Going to just take a little bit of a drop back towards the guys coming up here. Looks like Richard Crawley just kicking his way up in and towards the line here. Mr. Gibbons just coming up towards it as well, doing that final big push in as well. Just keeping an eye on all of these riders. In with John Hind on his way towards it. Looks like Chris Hilbert just dropping his way in as well. Holmes coming in up towards the gantry. Salamat on his way in too. Ted's going to be heading out and around. I think he's got one more lap to go for our red beacon at the moment. So the red beacon on his way up as Salamat comes in through the gantry. Good riding. Mr. Bennett comes in and through. So Dobrowski goes in through the station. Lone Rider comes in and through. Mike Salcal doing the business out there as well. Alison Kinlock finishing. Mason finishing his beacon. Ted, he's through the gantry. He's going out and around once again. Let's take a little bit of a look back. Just go have a look. Kieran Brown on his way up towards the top of the climb. Just going to jump in with Taylor Sutton here. Mr. Dorsey coming up through the finish. Good to see Nick riding smoothly. Nick not afraid to speak his mind when people don't play the game. Kieran Brown putting a big push into the finish on the mountain bike. Rob Wimble trying to sit on his wheels. Not the first time Rob's trying to stay with Kieran on the way up to a finish line. That is for sure. Lapping in here as well. Steve Hilberg, see Steve back on the group. Going to drop back a little bit here to Mr. Peace on his way to the finish. So Peace on his way up, 4 seconds behind. Here is Brennan working hard behind. So Brennan has company. Looks like Somerville's pushing on behind. There's a big group with Flanders, Fraser and Julesy behind them as well. And this is the final few hundred metres up towards that green banner. The finish here on the sprint today. Some big watts coming out of Julesy on the way through. So it was a piece of Brennan, Julesy, and then it is Edwards, Somerville, Flanders, Fraser, Sonia Inslee, Caulfield, Hinchcliffe, Wilkinson, Vader just comes through the finish here. Next up it's going to be Boy Hoy along with Jackson. The next two riders on the way in to the finish. So Jackson in and through. Donnoghue now on the run in to the finish here behind Donnoghue. You can see we've got a few riders going to be heading out and around once again for another lap. Let's jump in with Vin here. Let's get the camera right down on him. So Vin now in to the final sprint scene, getting out of the saddle, kicking the watts up now, up to 4 watts per kilo here, 322, 332 watts. So on his way in at 330 watts. Come on, all the way to the line, Mr. Donnoghue. There's the time to push to the line. Here he goes, in and over the line goes Donnoghue. Good ride into the finish now. Bramley, I think, is going to be our next finisher because Rob Carling and PG just go out and around once again. So Mr. Bramley on the climb into the finish here. Bramley being chased by Finch. Finch is only 3 seconds behind. Just going to try and get a view back of Finch just in that big chasing group behind. But through the line goes Bramley. Then I think it's going to be Langmead who's just going to take that. So it's Langmead just ahead of Finch. Finch continues to push on. Then Lee behind. Ambler comes through the line just with Joe Jarvis. Good riding, Joe. And then just behind, I think it's going to be Atkinson and McPhee, our next two riders, up on the way towards the line here in the Champs-Élysées in Paris. So big kick in from McPhee, and it's going to be McPhee who's going to come up to the line first of the duo. Big kick into the finish. McPhee comes in through the line just in front of Atkinson. Atkinson chasing all the way in to the line. Behind it is a Whitlock. Whitlock was in a good group earlier on. Puts in the aero boost, the assistance to get the speed up on this last kick into the finish. That green gantry just coming up on the run up towards the plateau. And the gradient very clearly shown here. It's certainly enough to stretch the legs, but it's going to be Whitlock who comes in next. Just ahead of Whitehead and Pritchard here. This, I think, is going to be actually a slightly bigger group than that. So we have Whitehead in here. We've got Pritchard, so Whitehead in the blue, Pritchard in the black and the red. Morris are moving up there, and it's Pritchard who's gone on to the front now, looking to drag it out, puts the pressure on, and it's going to be Pritchard who is giving it a big kick now, a power up behind. Let's get up in the air, see if Whitehead can respond to this. It's Pritchard, then Whitehead, then Morris, followed by Cootie from Sheffield. Drummond just coming into the line now. So Drummond comes in and through. Nice riding by Drummond. We're going to just drop back a little bit now. This is another big group behind. Remember, they were all together, but now it is Julie Leodis and it's going to be Lisa Leviton, the next duo, heading in towards the line. You see that gantry just up in front. Now Leotis just pushing on. A response coming from Leverton. No, Leverton just kicking up through the Watson. Leotis now gives it another big kick here as we're going in towards the line. It's going to be Leotis, I think, who's going to get this just in front. So Leotis goes through. Then it is Lisa Leverton behind them. Next through, we're going to take a look. I think it's going to be Garth and Rose. So this is Rose on the way to the line. Got Garth behind, who's putting out some serious wattage behind. Garth, he's going to try and close him down here. Garth's got the momentum and he goes past him. So it's going to be Garth who pushes on. It's then going to be Rose behind. You just see, I think, Sarah Grimshaw putting in some big kicks as well. Rose going to just make it in to the line. Oh, and it looks like Sarah gets that from Rose. Then it's going to be Doc Hemstock, Emma Collier going through. Gary License comes through. Pablo going to be our next rider up. So Pablo rides from Scotland on his way up towards the line. So good riding, Pablo. Well done, mate. Crossing the line there. We're going to drop back. I think it's going to be Carl Johnson, our next rider. So Carl, our next rider in towards the line, just makes his way up. You can see behind him, big gap now to Ferron and Day, about 10 to 12 seconds. The time checks here, always a tricky one when we're in Paris and we're on the run around the Champs-Élysées. It does get tricky to call on the way through. So here we go, Carl out the saddle, puts in the power up, the aero boost is in. He's going to be heading in towards the line. Here he comes, that gantry comes and through goes Carl Johnson. Nice big kick out there on his run to the line behind. Then it's going to be Ferron. Ferron's got company though, look, here they are behind him. You can just see Sean Ferron has got Day and Bolt behind. Bolt in the orange, Day in the blue, Ferron in the green. Our next three riders heading up towards the line at the moment. And it's going to be a Bolt, then Ferron, then a Day going through. Bolt goes up to the line and he's going to take that. So it's Bolt, then Ferron, then Day as they hit the line coming through this time. Now I'm going to take a little bit of a drop back. I think it's going to be Galton, the next rider in. Then we're going to have Fryer, Ted, Bradshaw, Morris. And I think it should be PG and Carling, the riders who are going to be rolling the way in. So here comes the gantry for Tom Galton now, riding in at 3 was per kilo. Going to get himself over the line, just the warm down to do. Well done, Tom. Behind a big group of riders with Art Red Beacon on the run up to the gantry at the moment. So we have Ted, that is Edwards. And then we've got Morris, Bradshaw and Fryer. So Morris in the grey, Bradshaw in the light blue, Fryer in the dark blue. On the way up towards the line, we're going to try and stay side on, if not just slightly overhead on the run in here, just so that we can make sure that we get them as they come in. Dodge the flags on the way on the run into the line now. We've seen a power up coming here. And that has just come from Morris, who is just starting to stretch this out on the front behind. You can just see Bradshaw's got the drafting engaged, but the feather flag is the key one here. Meanwhile, Ted just pushing on at the moment. So Ted is going to push up towards the front here. A Red Beacon really stretching these riders all the way to the end. So it is going to be Ted, followed by Morris, then Fryer, then Bradshaw as they come in and through the line. A massive thank you to Ted. Good riding, mate. Well done in very difficult circumstances, pulling the back group back together again. So we're going to jump across. It is going to be the dynamic duo on the way through. So PG and Carling on the way up towards line, just coming around out from the underpass. So apologies if you tuned in to see the race finish. We didn't cover it, and the reason we didn't cover it was that the chain gang was set up to enable everybody to have a great ride out, not just those people who are capable of ripping it up at the front. Russ and I set it up so that people look something forward to and to keep everybody together. Russ and I volunteer our time and give away shed loads of time as well as money to make it happen. That means when people come in and rip it up, we try and control it. Now, apologies if you were one of the several hundred riders shelled by the guys out at the front who clearly weren't bothered about anybody else. We have got the opportunity that we could turn it into a membership only ride. We have the option to make it a subscription only ride. That would then allow us to boot out the riders. Alternatively, you can name and shame them. If you know who they were on the front pushing on, send them a message, tell them the damage they've done. If they're not bothered, then I won't stay friends on them for Facebook. There are one or two riders who haven't got the same amount of money and haven't got the same amount of kit and the accuracy. However, if they're repeatedly doing it, that's probably not the case that it's the kit. It's probably more the case that they're just not bothered about you. So if you are one of the riders who has been pushing on, just give you fair warning. We won't cover you. We will pull the coverage. You will make enemies, not friends, and that's not the point of the chain gang. The point is to keep it together. As we saw, our real winners tonight were the groups behind. Some really big groups working hard, gaining PBs, gaining new FTPs, getting good friends, making friends, not enemies, getting a group together and working together, and that is what the chain gang is all about. And that's what we want our riders to observe. We've got 300 riders. You can't see everybody. It is difficult, I know. However, if it works together, then we can leave it as it is. If it doesn't work, then we will change it and we will make it so that you can't ride it if you consistently break the rules, guys. It's really simple. Got a great community who looked after each other. They've helped people who are in trouble. They've helped people who are down on their uppers. We've encouraged loads of people to ride, to try Swift, to come out and ride and join in with a group who've never done so before. We've given people the opportunity to ride with professionals. We want to keep that going, and it's thanks to the donations of the riders, most of which got ripped to pieces today, that we can do that. So we are going to watch our riders on the way in. It looks like PG and Carling are going to give it some beans in to give us a grandstand finish. We're going to be back next week. Don't know where the courses are yet, but we'll let you know. Make sure you get onto the Facebook page to make sure that you keep up to date with that. You know what the chat is and you know what everybody is up to. And of course, what the rules are of the chain gang. In the meantime, if you want to get in touch, Matt at Full Speed Events, Russ at Downing Cycling. The pair of us co-produced this and have put it together. Now we're going to dive in because the sprint's on and there's a big old kick on the way into the green line. Let's get it covered because they're heading up towards the finish. The last riders here on the Donny Chain Gang in the Champs-Elysee in Paris. So here we go, big jump has come, and it's come from Carling. Carling has the lead at the moment, but did he go too early? He's being caught here on his way up, and it looks like PG putting the pressure on that green banner. He's up the hillside here. He went hard underneath the bottom there, but it's a long way up this hill, and at the moment PG up on the front here, just going to be rolling his way in. So the banner coming for the riders in the blue banners, they come through. They're going to get the red banner at the end, but the key one is going to be the green beacon banner, the sprint banner here at the Champs-Elysee in Paris. Now a kick from Carling again here. Carling is going to go again. These two, it's just like trading blows, trading punches on the way through. Carling's gone back out of the saddle here. And is there going to be any response behind from PG? Has he got anything left in his legs? Carling sat back down again here. And they're up and down repeatedly here. Carling just eases off the pressure. He doesn't want to have to keep that going to the line. Come on, Rob. Big kick in over the green sprint line he goes. PG's got the pressure on behind him, though. Can he close him down? Rob's gone pop here, and it looks to me like it is going to be PG who's going to get this. They've been swapping places all the way round on the ride. and it's going to be PG who's going to take the green banner. Through he goes. Then it's going to be Rob Carling. Come on, Rob, last few metres, mate. So Rob Carling are going to be rounding us out on his way into the line, and up to the gantry comes Rob. So as Rob comes in underneath the gantry, you can see him rolling his way around, and all that remains is for me to say have a safe weekend and keep it rubber side down. Have a quick check on the Facebook page for all the updates from today's ride, and make sure that you get yourselves on that page. Contribute to the community that is the Donny Chain Gang. From Russ, down from myself, Matt Payne, on what has been a very interesting night tonight. We'll see you soon.